Hello, good
everybody.
evening,
Good evening, or good evening.
and welcome to another Let's Talk live stream with Hugh and Lorraine Bellot. So, tonight we just had to do something slightly different. We're going to talk with a panel about the issues that's arising for us as businesses, as people in general, because now that the prices are going up and there doesn't seem to be a solution right now because there doesn't seem to be any way that we can actually improve things financially. So we're going to talk around how do we support each other? How do we support our community? And number one thing is how do we support everyone in our community?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah?
exactly,
So,
exactly. So we obviously, before we do invite everyone, we're going to introduce them all, our lovely, illustrious guests. Hugh will introduce, and as he introduces them, we will bring them on board, and let's just get this conversation started.
Well, first, and I would say that the person who's been here, I would like to say that this is Sophia Leach of the Black Card Lottery. Yeah, and hello, my dear. You've been here before.
Hello, my darling.
So
How are
nice to
you?
meet you. So nice to greet you. It's wonderful to see you.
Nice to see you both as well. I love what you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you, my darling.
We only do what we can. Yeah. So next on the line, we have Hildreth Alexander. Now, you know what? This is a new person to the group, but she has such a wonderful idea that is going through development, and we want to support her. So, without further ado.
Yeah, and very much in need with health and well-being, right, for our people. There's nothing better. Come on in, Hildreth. Come on in.
How are you?
Thank you so much for inviting me here. It's it's just really lovely.
Oh, thank you. Now, you know what? We've got Mr. Denzel Washington, who's not here at the present moment. So we'll give him a moment. He's in the background, but I'm sure he'll be with us. I think he's probably just putting down the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So we'll be dealing with that in a minute. So you know what? And Paul also is here. Right?
Paul is here, but he's
just gone in the background. So we have a wonderful person, Mr. Paul Laidlaw. I always get that wrong.
Who is from the Top Hill Caribbean cuisine. Okay.
He's called the chef, Paul the chef. Yeah. So you know what?
And here he is now, as we speak. Come on in, Paul. Come on in.
Hello, Paul. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, I'm not too bad. I don't know.
You know what? I'm gonna say to you that we really do appreciate what you're doing because you have a business you're running as we speak. And so for you to be here and to give us your time, we really do respect that and appreciate that. Thank you very much. So how's business going? Paul, can you hear me?
Paul?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just having a little bit of trouble with this. I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we'll continue otherwise until you get yourself going. Okay.
When you can catch up.
All right. So, how's everybody been? How's everyone been? How's the weekend?
Good.
Yeah, busy.
It's been all right.
What have you been up to? Because I know, as we said, Hildreth, you have been really busy. Last Monday, you were doing something. And I'm sure Sophia was there with you because I heard you two speaking about, the common experience. So what were you doing last week, Monday?
Oh, we were in this this session in regards of starting and creating a business from scratch.
Okay.
So we're just giving other people advice about what to do and a bit of structure.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah.
So, do you want to expand, Sophia?
Yes. So
no. That's fine because what you guys. I mean, you do your own business and to support other people. That is, that's one of the wonderful things. And Sophia, what have you been up to?
So for me, I've just been getting out there, just hitting the pavement, trying to be on every radio station I can be on. So I've been on recently Chalk Hill community radio with Patricia Blaze. I've been going to amazing Pan-African fairs to just keep spreading the word of what I'm doing. So that's Monks Park pop-up, and also culture books in Neasden as well. So just trying to get out there and keep spreading the word of what I'm trying to achieve and do. So yeah, it's been great.
Thank you.
That's brilliant. And here he is. Just so that I can say the reverberation that's coming back.
Can someone just turn down their volume slightly?
Or just mute for a moment.
Because you might be your microphone might be next to the speaker, so that's why.
I bet it's that Monks Park North Wheezy crew that's causing all the problems. You get me? Don't share their juice. I bet it's them.
And without further ado, we also have with us the illustrious Mr. Geoff Schumann, who is also an edutainer and the charity chair of the Felix Dexter Foundation. So greetings, sir. And,
greetings, sir. We are humbled by your presence.
And to our panel as well. So thank you very much.
All very much.
Former workmate, Brother Hugh. How are you, sir?
I am fine. We are good, and we're good to see you. And I'd like to say to you that, that suggestion you made when we first spoke about this subject, it hit me straight away. And I had to say, let's just do this, because that's a conversation that needs to be had. So what I'm going to say to everybody is everyone will treat it accordingly, that we will all give each other due deference to speak our minds, and then to give other people the opportunity to speak. That way we're not going to have to put up our hands to speak. Yeah. So I would say, Geoff.
Well, the subject is, first and foremost, charity begins at home. Yeah. All right. So in terms of what is happening at the moment out there, number one, everyone's coming out of lockdown. That's great. That's wonderful. We're learning in a way to kind of live with that. But obviously now with the energy prices and so on going up, and thinking about our health and well-being, and
the price of the business, the rates and everything,
and business rates
about to go up, we are going to see a lot of businesses who are, unfortunately, if the planning wasn't up to date. What was those words about the planning, Geoff?
Yeah, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Okay, exactly. So if you haven't planned, then what will happen is you're going to find a situation where you're going to have to find the money to pay for these bills that are coming up at us at an astronomical rate. Exactly. To a certain degree, some people are experiencing, almost just on a personal note, experience £60 rises in the price of electricity and gas. So imagine what's going to happen with businesses. So let's see how we can talk through this and make people aware of the issues that people in business are facing, and how do we support them?
Why don't we start with Paul, because right now he's
in the kitchen.
He's in the kitchen,
burning gas, electricity, hurrah! On the word.
So what better place to start? I mean, Paul, how is what's happening right now? How's that impacting you? How's your business going?
Well, we're still quite an early, we're a young business, really. I mean, 5 going on to 6 months opening. Whether it's a good or bad thing, I'm still yet to know. But I think it's more easier for me to maybe work with it than people who have been going a longer period of time. So I'm hoping I can try and adapt to it. I'm not trying to think of a negative. I'm just trying to think positive. And because I've started it and it's young, so if it means you have to increase the price, then you have to increase the price. Even though some people are not going to kind of like it, but they need to understand everything's going to change. Well, everything has changed over the last year and a half. Everything has changed. So I'm kind of
in terms of the rise and stuff of energy prices, how is that impacting your business right now, or how do you factor that in?
To be honest, no. As I said, because it's only like 6 months, I think, and I'm still growing the business, we have not really factored that in. We've built a structure for 12 months, and the price increase or the electricity or the gas, I haven't really incorporated the rise, as to say. But with what we're doing at the moment, luckily we're okay. You know, for the first 12 months, we're okay. But obviously, within the second year, it probably will start to show. But I know food has gone up, unbelievable. Food has gone up. I mean, crazy prices. And because we've got the delivery factor, we're paying like 35% for people to deliver food. So that's another outlay.
So that's an additional.
Without a doubt, how much can you put your food up to without causing people to, you know, what can you do?
Yeah,
I don't
make
know.
other decisions. So while we are asking you about your business, can you tell us where your business is located, first and foremost?
Well, it's located in West London, which is West Ealing, by West Ealing train station.
Okay.
So it's mainly a takeaway business because of the way everything has changed. We decided to focus more on delivery takeaway than people coming in and sitting down. And it's mainly, well, it's 99% all fresh food here. And we cook very authentic food. So that's really what we aim our business for, because health-wise, things have got to change. So the food is as healthy as we can make it. And it's just done with love, you know?
Okay. Lovely. Thank you very much. Let's move it on a little bit, and we'll bring everybody in. I don't know, Hildreth. I mean, how can you let us know who, you know, your business?
What do you do?
And what do you do, and how's that impacting and helping everybody with what's going on right now?
Well, I mean, we're a charity. I'm quite fortunate that we were virtually virtual, like a lot of businesses. The pandemic came.
I had my microphone off.
All right, Hildreth, can you, after Geoff, can you tell us what your business is? Yeah? Okay, so I'll give you a moment. Sorry, Geoff, can you continue, please? Carry on.
Yeah, I think it's just the connection.
So we, like a lot of charities, because of the pandemic, finances, different pockets of money that you can apply for money for. I know some charities, friends of mine who are chairpersons like I am, in their business models, they had rented rooms in business centres, and obviously they had grants for just basic office space, office rent. Now the utilities rise, we'll hit some of them, but as I say, for the Felix Dexter Foundation, because we work virtually, and one of our trustees has her own business, her own office, so when we do need to meet physically, we are able to meet there. But the impact, we factored in that we didn't want to have a building until we grew the charity as big as we possibly can. What we would like to have, a bit like the Stephen Lawrence Centre, an art centre for Felix Dexter, certainly in the island of his birth in St Kitts, and hopefully somewhere here in the UK. But it's cost, it's finance, and with the utilities increase, one of the charities that I know of, they estimate that the rise in their heat and electricity over the next 12 months is going to be nearly £2,000.
That is astronomical, isn't it?
£1,000. I was like, well, how do you work that out? He said, well, we don't do dual fuel. So he advised me that he didn't think that was the best model, but both of the utilities wrote to them. They've got 3 offices or 3 rooms. You're going to cut that down to 2. And the rooms need heating. And when you've got a 30% increase in rise, and you're currently paying £1,300 now, it's going to be £2,000. That's £700 to £800 increase, which is a lot of money if you're a charity, and you can't raise funds in the way in which you'd like to.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is where I suppose we'll bring Hildreth in as well, because what you've just mentioned something there in regards to dual fuel, and I suspect that there's quite a few people, businesses that are on that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, Hildreth, you know, would you like to come and introduce yourself to everyone? And just pick up on that?
Yeah. My company is called Urban Trailblazer, CIC, and fundamentally, we're trying to reduce food insecurity and loneliness. Firstly, amongst the elderly and those with a disability, but we want to branch out to other groups as well. So what we do, we grow food, whether it like mushrooms, vegetables, fruits, on the properties of the vulnerable. So it can be a garden, windowsill, steps, balcony, etc. And we're even trying to include hydroponics, where you don't need soil to grow, like vegetables or fruits and stuff. We saw that it was fundamental in regards of what's going on at the moment and potentially what's going to come through. Because I knew inflation was going to rise. And I knew that food and energy were going to be like serious contenders as well. So being able to understand how to grow your own food and to be sustainable and depend on yourself is really important as well. And also this can branch out into other things as well in regards of being community-based, but also importantly being commercialized as well.
So here's a question then, in terms of your company, what you've just started, how are you going to raise money for your development, and what's the process you're taking?
So what I'm thinking at the moment is that we're going to do garden services. First of all, to just get some money into the business. So, I mean, obviously for summer, that will be quite good. In winter, it's more of like clear-ups, etc. And I'm trying to think out of the box as well in regards of what we can do with that. So maybe helping people with their allotments, because there's a lot of elderly people who have allotments and can't keep up with it as well.
Right.
Also, we will be selling plants, and I've calculated how much that would cost. Like plug plants, vegetables and stuff, especially during summer. But I want to kind of create a campaign where we can do just for winter, and people will kind of register that you can grow quite a few stuff in winter as well. It doesn't just stop in summer.
Okay.
Right, so that's kind of helping in a different way. What we are, what we're trying to achieve really is more sustainability. You know what I mean? Helping yourself, and especially at these times, we have to kind of think outside the box as to how that's going to be done.
So we're looking not only at,
and also,
but you see, one of the things is that we're not only looking at the individual, but the real truth is that we have to look at how do we fund our businesses and our charities, because at the present moment, what the situation is that people are not taking their hands out of their pockets. And so, a great idea that has happened is the Black Card Lottery. So with that, I'd like to introduce Sophia on that and see exactly where we go from that, because her idea is actually grown into a business, and we can talk about the purpose of that business, because it's not a self-serving business, it's actually for the community. So Sophia, it's for you now.
That was a beautiful segue, by the way.
I'm learning, I'm getting there. Geoff, tuition is working. Thank you.
So that's exactly where I stand. So the whole premise, and you guys know my story, my idea came from the fact that I was just looking for a solution to problems that I just kept on seeing reoccurring, that we are just underfunded as a community. And the underfunding element of us in this country is that we don't have ways of really pooling our money together on a very national platform. And these things kind of don't exist. You see GoFundMe pages, those get circulated within, WhatsApp groups, but they can be missed because there's just a lot of information and it's separated everywhere. The reason why I started the lottery is I just wanted to find a communal pot so that we can have almost like an emergency fund when we need it. And that is to basically help fund our own charity and our own causes. Now, with that, it's also then thinking of the businesses. So even when I look at the fact that, yes, we're going to be going into a more strained economy right now for the rising of energy prices and so forth. If we were paying into a lottery, one of what I love about the lottery that I've created is the fact that we will actually have Black-owned businesses as our small prize offerings. So we'll be helping to fund these Black businesses we will be able to give them exposure and help them in.
Sorry, 1 minute.
I think
Can you turn off your microphones because we're competing with sound. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that was an important element of the lottery, is to obviously have buying Black products and having them as our small prize offerings that we can give exposure to these brands, have them obviously have another stream of revenue through business to business with us. And it's the same thing with restaurants. We want to be able to incorporate those for, those weekend nights in, and have couples win, a dine-in experience and so forth. So these are the kind of things that we want to do to make sure that we circulate the Black pound within our community and have it stay longer than 6 hours as it currently stands. But again, the lottery, and this is what's interesting, the challenges that we're finding now is because our purses are being pinched, people do look at that £10 as a bit of an issue. But we know that this is something that we can pay in, that is ours, and that's what we need to focus on, that we can be creating our own solutions. Because even what Urban Trailblazers doing, when I heard her speak last week, I was like, oh, this is what we need. We need to be creating our own food. We need our own allotments. We need to be in charge of our own sustainability again. So those are the kind of charities I want to help. And again, like you said, I'm a non-profit. There's no directors, there's no shareholders. Everything that we make is going back into our community. And I think also on another level, any kind of redistribution of winning, £1,000 here and £1,000 here for certain individuals, that could go a long way to helping them pay those bills as well. So
yeah, that's right.
It's all to help the community.
It's all relative.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. So in terms of that, Geoff, where do you see us going from here on? Because we are trying to identify how do we then find, solutions. Because this is the question, is there are many of the problems that we face, but we need to also look at the solutions. What do you perceive to be?
I spent a long time, Hugh. As you would know, you've known me from way back. When I left teaching to go into youth work, and I took myself off of what I would call, having listened to the two eloquent young women. I kept on meeting progressive people continuously. But when you're around those people and you share the same mindset, the frustrations seep in, because you start thinking, well, they get it, I get it, why doesn't everybody else get it? And it really is about mindset. So my mum's got dementia now, but I know if I'd gone to my mum 15 years ago and said Black Lottery, the first thing I heard was teeth. The mindset. Because the mindset is, if I go into Chinatown, or I'm up in Little Turkey in North London, the restaurants are populated with their people. Populated. Our mentality still is, well, I can make it at home. Why should I pay £10 for a plate of oxtail and rice? Well, I can buy oxtail for £20 and get 20 plates of it. It's the mindset that really, when we talk about solutions, sometimes I think a big error we make, and I'll say this, it's like, especially for Black businesses, like with what you and your wife are doing, Hugh, we need a rites of passage. We need to have Zooms to just talk about the mindset where people are at. If it's about each one teach one, you've got to do the collective. And for the collective to work, you've got to embrace and bring people with you. Otherwise, you're just talking to the converted few. So it's back to education. For me, it is about large, again, it's going to sound very tabloidish, large-scale Zooms saying things like, will you seriously spend money with your own?
Yeah.
That's serious. Honestly, it's that simple, because lots of people will talk the talk and will say things, I believe in climate change and blah, blah, blah. But if they've got a hair appointment or got to get to work in the morning and someone's sitting in the road, I want to kill them. I haven't got time to waste. Hey, yo, brother, let me go past, and then you carry on protesting. So like Marcus said, if you don't know where you're going, what road do you take?
Yeah.
So here's a question. Now, I'm a solution-based person. So in terms of what you've just said there, I know for a fact that we have a couple of counselors, therapists, and chartered therapists, right, psychologists, and I'm going to get one to come onto the BBR and on a regular basis to have meetings with people to talk to them about the change of mindset, positive mindset. So that is something I'm going to work towards. Yeah. So that's the start of that conversation. So hopefully you will be a part of that equation, and we will get people to start talking and thinking different, because this is about education. This is about our community being educated, and we keep on saying it, but it needs to be said until it's done. We need to educate each other about what the difficulties are to run a business. So in terms of this segue,
to prepare as well, as you know, as we have said, you know, it is about preparation. As much as we're going to look at all the solution-based things, it is about how do you prepare for things. I mean, the only way to say is that the ULIS charge. When did we know the ULIS charge was coming in? I'm sure they put that out there a whole 18 months ago, right? Last year. But you're going to find people saying, well, I don't know how I'm going to factor that into business.
And I didn't check my car was ULIS compliant until the day before they click the button. Yeah. But, you know, I'm going to come back to Paul, because Paul is relevant to this point in which he has started a business, and to a certain degree, we're at a point now where he has to look at what his future is and how we support him. So, Paul, what is the kind of support you need on top of people coming to your business? What do we need to do? Because this is a lesson for everybody. Your microphone. Your microphone.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay. I think Geoff hit it on the head earlier when he said the mindset, because from understanding the trade, which is going back nearly 40 years, the mindset of our food, because our food is so expensive to buy, period. Our food, and I don't think people realize how expensive it is to buy. So for you to factor a price in and to sell it to make a profit, it's almost, well, you know, if I go home, I can cook it. Oh, my mum used to make it and so forth. But if people understand, I think you have to go back to basics with Caribbean food. You have to really understand the price that people are actually paying for it, and then making it, and then the staff and so forth, to really understand why people have to put such a price on their food. And I think we just don't do that, because we're so locked into the old way, and we're thinking like oxtail, we can just get loads of it and put it on the plate, and it's costing the same price. It's not costing the same price. So you've got that battle, you know, and then you've got to go to the shop and then work out another battle because the price has gone up. So it's always a battle with Caribbean food, and I don't know why. I've been doing it maybe 10 years, Caribbean food. The rest of it's being French, Italian, and so forth. But as Geoff said, you could go to Chinatown and everybody will be there. They'll just pay the price. But when you walk into a Caribbean shop, it's almost like, God, that's too much. But, and you know, it's not too much. You're just trying to make a living with the prices that you're paying for out there. But if we came together and we could actually go to one place to buy our food, you know, why can't we have big warehouses like everybody else? Where we can,
well, there's one just recently opened, but I'm sure that Sophia has got her finger up. So, Sophia, what would you like to say on that? I'll come back to you, Paul.
He hit the nail on the head for me. So one thing, obviously, you guys know that my background is in retail, and as an area manager in previous roles, we used to obviously buy in mass and produce in mass and sell. I've always wanted there to be one big wholesalers that you could go and negotiate a price together. So what I find interesting is, what stops you from finding, say, another 4 West Indian restaurants that is in your area and coming together and say, let's bulk buy together to bring down our price together. You know, I do my stuff my way, because I'm not being funny. I like my jerk chicken a certain way. So there's going to be places I go over somewhere else, but then I like their style, so I go there, and I like their, you know, their ackee and saltfish. So I spread it around.
You spread the money.
So I don't think it will ever be the fact that you'll spread my money around to make sure everybody gets. But is there a way of having that same group mentality that other cultures have, where they buy collectively and sell individually, but you're bringing your costs down? That's what I would love to see, because that would be the mindset changing.
Exactly.
On that, we'd like to pause for a moment. We have a little advert that will take us a few seconds, and we'll come back to that change of mindset.
Yeah, all right. And also as well, what we want is, if anyone's listening, if you've got any questions, that put it in the chat, and we'll try and put that through to everybody. Let's get the conversation going. See you in a couple of seconds.
The Blue Mountain region of eastern Jamaica is arguably the most famous coffee region in the world. Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee is one of Jamaica's most prized possessions and is celebrated globally. Cultivated in the steep slopes, the volcanic soils and gentle mist provide the perfect conditions to form this wonderfully aromatic speciality blend. Out of many, there is one love. Marshall and Brown, Jamaican Blue Mountain Coffee.
I would just like to say, in terms of what you just said there, I think, Sophia, I think that is the correct thing. It is about the mind change and, thinking of things in a positive way and collaboration. Yeah. Because that's one of the things, is that you're talking about collaboration. But you see, one also is that you actually created something. And while you say, the Black Card Lottery, tell us what the Black Card Lottery is about, because the premise of that is what we need to talk about.
And how that's going to make us, more sustainable and help build that ecosystem that we want.
Definitely. So, like I mentioned, so the premise of the Black Card Lottery is just crowdfunding. Now, when I went away from, I don't know who out there will know Bridge Park, I was in a meeting 2018 in December, and we found out it was going to close. But we had no way as a community to buy that building, to even, to pay enough money to fight it in courts. So we need a system that allows us to crowdfund together. So when I went away looking, it wasn't the fact that, I just want to start a lottery. No, I was looking for the most tax efficient, the legal and accountable system. And the accountability comes from the Gambling Commission. I actually hold the license. I'm the first Black female in history to hold that Gambling Commission license. It was not easy to obtain.
Congratulations to you on that.
Thank you. They didn't want me to obtain it. What should have taken 14 weeks took 57. But with that, they understood that once we have that license and we're able to crowdfund together, we won't be so reliant on a system that's not made for us. So what my vision is yes, if everybody pays in £10, and I'm just saying just 1 million of us, which is a third of our population currently going by census 2011, if just a third of us play, we will be generating 10 million a month. We can do exactly what Paul says, where we can actually have our own wholesalers. We know every other culture that has a wholesalers. I've actually shopped in one of them, which I shouldn't have, but
and our own funding as well, and our own funding streams. So situations like now, what we're going through, you know what I mean? So
that's the kind of things that, if say we had a community center, and we know that, oh goodness, you know what, the actual energy price is going to be really, really high. Let's invest in getting our own and insourcing our own electricians, our own plumbers. My mom's a plumber. Plumbers to go in and put in systems that are more cost effective. We would have money to do that. But right now we're just, change jingle. We don't have that. Yeah. We're just adrift. Now, as a community, we're just adrift.
The thing for us is that one of the key areas we need to always look at is our education system and our banking system. Now, with what you're doing, then Paul could come to your bank that would support him in terms of his business, rather than have to go to somewhere where he's already on a downer, because there are issues already that block Black people from going into business or receiving any loans and so on. So that's the imperative of why we need to make sure that this is a situation that we have to start looking at. we have to support your organization, because it wasn't created for you to make yourself rich. It was created to support our community. And it only takes about, I think it's something in the region of less than £1 million to open a bank of your own. Yeah. So within that, if we were all paying £10 a month, we would have the money to support Paul in his business and Hildreth in her entrepreneurship to do what she needs to do. Yeah, exactly. So, that would also cover the issue that Geoff has actually brought to our table, which is, how do we support our community, our businesses, to make sure that they survive this, this situation that we're in? Yeah.
And I think,
Hildreth, sorry.
I think what's interesting as well is a mindset also comes from the fact that our solutions don't usually come from people that look like us. So when you're thinking about food banks, when you're thinking about wheels on, I think it's Meals on Wheels, you don't they are very much, the government that's doing that, and organizations that don't look like us. And so also the food doesn't sustain us as well in the same way. That's why it'd be amazing to work with with our local restaurants and having our own meals, our own vegetable patches that we can help people grow their own. So that is the bigger picture. And I think if we start helping ourselves and helping people that look like us, by us, the mindset will shift that, okay, wow, we are looking after each other. The person who's brought this to my meal or brought this to my mother, it looks like me, and it's our food that I recognize. And do you see what I mean? So I think the picture is us coming together collectively and starting to eat in. And there are organizations that are ready to do that. And it's just about, like you said, trying to a singular system to pay into to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Hildreth, I don't know if you'd like to come in here. I mean, obviously that ties in a way with what you're saying, that self-sufficiency that we need.
I mean, because also I'm always thinking of like new ideas. So I've got another idea after this idea has completed, where we can buy like quite a few acres and for the community to grow food, but only in a commercialized setting, not strictly just for growing food, but for them to earn a living with it as well. So hopefully I can go forward with that sometime soon, but that's going to be hard in a way to get those acres of land that I need to get
but you know what the truth is with that, Edith, is that one of the things is that if we start talking to businesses and people who have the type of investment ability, we can actually get that and sustain it. But the first thing is we need to communicate with each other. And those people who do have the ability to support, right, can do so if they see that it's profitable for them, because no one wants to give away for free. But it's got to be something that's sustainable. Yeah. And, that's the key ingredient, because until we start doing that, we're going to be in a situation where people are just going to say, well, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. And then we get into difficulties,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, Paul, in terms of for you now, looking ahead, without sounding too doom and gloom, as they say, things are going to be quite challenging. Have you started to kind of think about what the next few months ahead will mean for your business?
I have sort of, because as you know, it's all changed in the last year and a half. Things have changed, but I've just really tried to remain positive, because if I'm honest, I've given it one more try. This is the third time I've actually been here. So I said, if I can't make it really work now, then I'll just walk away from it. It's not like it's the first time. So because it's difficult, because I really don't know what the situation is going to be in 3 months' time. Got to be honest, the way things are at the moment. So, but still trying to still be positive.
Right. And in terms of things, have you put things in place, to say, right, okay, you're going to give this a push, because as they say in business, you keep going, don't you? You know what I mean? You keep going. But
what I've learned is you can put so much in place if the people do not support you, then that's the bottom line. You need people to walk through the door. No matter how much things you put in place, you still need people to walk through your door and make you a living, and you also make them happy with your food. So I'm just trying to be realistic. If I could put everything in place, but
and
still,
plan
you can plan and plan. But as I said, it's really working together, and that's the only way you can go forward. And we've got to sort of, going back the mindset. The mindset should have changed anyway. It's just people saying, let's work together. Why can't we just put everything down and say it's time to work together? And if you can't see what is around you at the moment, then you'll never be able to see. And it's time really for us to just bond together. And regardless
in these difficult
of what's
times,
going on, and build. Because it to me, it's like a window has opened for Black people. If they're shrewd enough to see, if they join together, the window is open for them to actually build. This is what I'm saying. I really think it's a good time. But you really need people to have the mindset to come together. You won't get that window for too long. That's right. This is what I see, and this is what I believe.
And I totally agree with you. And I think that one of the things that we need to do is ensure that we as a community understand, for instance, the premise of what you're doing. If we want to get the quality, because we don't recognize that the quality of what you serve is top notch, and we can't see it because we think that, if we're going to go somewhere, it's going to be cheaper, right? We've got to accept that those branded clothing that we wear are more expensive because they have a brand. Our brand is the quality of what we have, our food, right? So what you are doing, we have to consider it as a brand. So we're going there to pay the appropriate price, not look for a cheaper version, because the cheaper version doesn't taste the same. And when we start doing that, we start recognizing the quality and what we have in our community. And even if we say to ourselves that we're going to go once a month, as we go once a month, we go spread out our money, we should be doing that within our community and expect to pay the quality for the quality that we're receiving.
So I think,
can I just say something?
Yes, darling. Yes, indeed.
I just think that is an education, okay, and having a form of education takes time, and it takes time to change mindsets, etc., etc. So in some ways, shouldn't we be looking out the box to see what other ways we can progress our businesses as well, while that education is forming? So see where we can get different contracts, make different inroads.
Absolutely. We also, because of how we organize, we are always thinking of ourselves in terms of, I'm going to set a business. It would be brilliant for 5 businesses to say, you know what, let us buy one building and divide that building into 5 so we can do our businesses. That way we divide the money that we have to pay out and we live better until we start looking at that in terms of organizing what we have as a business. That's the way we move forward, because right now on a one-to-one, it's very difficult and it's becoming more difficult every day because you have to justify what you're doing to people who are, spendthrift in terms of their attitude towards their money. So we have to start looking at that and saying, okay, then in a business, our plan would be to open up as 5 businesses into one premise and then see how we can work with that. So we got to think mall type thinking rather than the small thinking that we do, which is one business at a time. We need to take that on board, because Paul, I'm sure you'd love to be in a place where your rent for the space and your council tax whatever is divided by 5
rather than just
I had a few years back, we used to do a hard food shop, which was yam and so forth, and there was a fish man and there was a key man, so all I had to do was just pay the rent. But this is when I look at that, I'm thinking, well, why don't we kind of have more of that? I remember a friend of mine wanted to, a whole street he wanted to have just black shops, you know, and it was nothing to do with race. He's just thinking that everybody else has it. Why can't I have a road just full and people can come down and shop? You know, and because the more shops like that you have around, is the more people obviously you're going to draw in. It's like you have so many restaurants along one road. The reason why is because you draw all different types of people. And without my trade, if I rely on my own people with my trade, I'm going to close the door tomorrow. That's where this is at the moment.
Exactly. But you should just put it out there to see.
Sorry, following on, I mean, one of somebody has just written here, following on from what you were saying there, Hildred. Yeah, they also think, you know, we need to also look at different approaches to business. Are we using the dynamics of social media, PR, using strategies that have not been tried before? The climate in business is different now, so we really need to move with it. You know, so I mean, you know, that's in essence what we're saying there, isn't it? Is that we need to shift and shift quickly.
Can I just say something?
What business is now? Yes, indeed.
Can I just say something? So looking outside the box. So for example, if Paul had a restaurant, he's got a restaurant, and he did like a social purpose with that restaurant, he could possibly get grant funding for it by becoming like a social enterprise, where he's all the profits will go back into the company, but it will be supporting the company, and he will be able to make a living off that as well. So it's just trying different concepts as well. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in terms of social enterprise, that would be a good idea. The question is, how will we be able to make that sustainable? And that's not a negative. It's about where we get our support. Yeah, because what we can't do is when we have the social enterprise, sometimes there are criteria by which you have to abide by, which could be restrictive. Yeah. So you have to look at that very carefully and how you open that up to the community.
Yeah. And another thing I just wanted, if I don't mind, I don't understand why Caribbean restaurants don't actually come together. Because we're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to get to the same place, and we're all trying to make money. So, to me, what would it make more sense for us all to come together, hold a meeting, and try and form something, some structure to where we can all go by to say, like, this is where we're going to buy from. We could actually do it there and then. This is where we're going to buy. This is how, and make a step, and then. It cannot, one leads to two leads to three. But I've never seen that, why can't we all come together? Because to me,
Paul, I think that's a great idea.
Let's just throw that.
That's a great idea, and I will call you to explore that, because I think that is something that we need to do
now and say, if people are willing to come together and let us know here, and we will start that.
Let us be the conduit to get that to happen, because this is not about a talk shop. This is about how do we find solutions, and I think that's a great idea, Paul. And I'll definitely come back to you and talk to you.
Yeah. So, but just bear with us. We will be back with you. Yeah, in a hot minute.
In a hot 30 seconds.
Okay.
My name is Ziggy Moore, owner of More Education, the UK's leading online Black-owned supplementary school and tuition service. Our experienced tutors deliver classes in English, maths, financial intelligence, and world and African history. Our online platform provides 24-hour support to students, so they can message us whenever they need help, and we'll get back to them. We deliver monthly progress reports for parents, so we can tell you where your child is at and clearly outline what next steps they need to do to progress.
Highly recommend More Education. Takari has developed so much in the last year.
And I'm really enjoying my tutoring with Mr. More Education, because I'm learning things that I don't really learn at school.
And he truly has a connection and a deepening of knowledge that he just wouldn't get in his normal school day-to-day education.
For more information about what we do, or to get your free consultation and online assessment, go to our website.
Hello and welcome.
And we're back. Thank you for that. If you were wondering where Geoff is at the moment, he will be back with us. Okay,
he's had some online problems, so trying to deal with that.
Okay, so following on from where we left off, Sophia, do you want to take up on where we left?
So
So of the brands coming together.
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer, because you know, when you kind of, I've been in the corporate world outside of my culture for a very long time, and I've seen kind of all of the tricks of the trades that they do, and the reason why they're able to they will just basically form a company together and brand, and that's what we don't have. We don't have a strong brand identity, and we need one strong brand identity where, okay, I want to go out, you know, the only thing I can think of is in Barbados, Chefettes, where you just want to go to Chefettes and have their food, and it's done in a even though it's done in a very standardized manner, you guys can come together and work out what your standards will be. But I think that's important. We don't have a brand identity in this country that when people think of West Indian food, think of, let's go there. The moment they're thinking of Turtle Bay, so you know, that's my whole point, is we need a brand identity with our smaller business operators, and they need to come together and have a conversation. It needs to happen. And you need to, and you know what, have those, find somebody who understands what you're doing. So, not to plug, but go to Malcolm and Sons Butchers. That's my granddad. Talk to him. Say, this is what us collectively want. Make it happen for us. And he will go out and source what you need, because he does it anyway. He's been doing it for 40 years. So that's the kind of stuff that would help our community, so that we then start to, when you get your stuff in bulk, it'll be manageable for you price wise, and you know, it just needs to happen. But I think it needs to happen across everything. I think even cake people, you know, we can all put our hands up if you know 10 people that make cakes. Everyone can
put your mic on.
Together as well. Yeah.
Geoff, your mic. Your
microphone. No, can't hear you.
It's not muted.
You're there. You're there now.
Okay, but isn't it back to what Hugh said in terms of we're more focused on solutions? I can give you an example about having the mindset. Malcolm and Sons is fantastic. Just that little statement in itself, that people should be able to go there, whether they know him or not. Paul and I don't have a history of friendship. We grew up in the same area. We don't have a history of. When he set up his business, a friend of mine goes to his business. I'd seen the business in the hands of other people beforehand. I approached him and said, look, a friend of mine does jingles. If I vocalize them, I'm sure he'll do it for me. You just give me the occasional roti and whatever and whatnot, and I'll get these jingles made for you. And if you haven't got that mindset to approach people to do that, because this isn't just based on Paul, there are other people I know who've owned restaurants. And one of the major things, it happens in comedy, it happens in music, when people are competing or you see competitors, you're not interested in the collective. Because if my restaurant is 0.5 miles away from Paul, this is a particular mindset. I want Paul to go out of business. I want to tell the man who I buy rotis from, listen, sell me blah, 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 and don't sell to blah, blah, blah. When you're faced with all those kind of problems, it makes you go in another direction. It makes you say, well, I don't want to be around so-and-so. So you start behaving like an individual. That's why this platform that you and your wife have is so important. So we can talk about these things, iron out these things, and say, look, none but ourselves can free our minds. We've got to get out of this individual mentality, get collective with a capital C, get proactive with a capital P, and go to those with a knowledge base and not be frightened. We're a charity. We have problems. People who aren't involved with the charity undermine the charity, want to do things away from it. But we have to soldier on and do what we need to do when it would be better for us if we were a larger collective. But you can't work with people that can't be trusted. And that's the problem. If they haven't got the same mindset, you great saying, can't be professional with.
That is also true.
Absolutely.
But then,
absolutely. I think that one of the things that we need to start, the first principle of any collective, is to get rid of the ego.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Once we have the ego in the business, you ain't going nowhere, right? Because man have to be above another man, or woman have to be above another woman, and before you know it, it's disruptive. So we have to learn to work together, trust each other, and get rid of the ego. If you get rid of the ego, the trust can grow. Remember, we're from a community that has been shown not to trust each other, and every which way but loose.
Yeah,
so now we're at a stage
I would
now.
say to you, I wouldn't even want to go down that road, because we, in a way, we've heard that and we know that amongst ourselves, right?
But we have to deal with it.
We do have to deal with it. But the thing is, I'll come back to Hildreth again, because I really do want to bring her in on this. Do you think then that we are trying to go too quickly ahead? Do you think that we still need, as a collective, to take a moment, a step back?
No, I don't. I think we just need to go ahead and take in what we approach. You know, it's like how I started. I didn't know too much about what I'm doing, but I thought, look, I'm just going to go ahead of it. It's like London Underground. They've agreed for me to grow food on stations and stuff, and I just went for it. I didn't think like, how can I say, if I had thought about it, my mindset would have come in, and I'm like, oh no, they're not going to let me do it. Oh, it's too big of a company. You just got to go forward, because then you get ideas, and then you'll start thinking out the box rather than in the, you know, the stereotypical approach. If you see what I mean.
The narrow path. Yeah. Yeah. And
you've got to ask people for help, and you've just got to take that bit of confidence and just ask people for help.
Absolutely. You know, I like what you've done there, Meredith, because the main thing was to ask London Transport. Now you put what you've done, ask London Transport for space to do gardening, growing food. Those two just do not work together. But because you had the fortitude to ask and see what would happen, from that point on, you can grow to get other people involved. And what Geoff is speaking about there is the ability for us to say, you know what? It's time for us to stop looking at ourselves only, look at the collective, and build from that point, because it will be economically viable that we are doing something that is cheaper for us in terms of running the businesses per se, and also making sure that we connect with the charities that we have in our community. Because at the present moment, if we look at it, we don't know many black charities, possibly because they're not publicized to a degree because they haven't got the money. And they're actual charities, because there is a thing going on, which is a charity business. Because how you can be in certain parts of the world saying that you're going to save children and you've been there 30 years, ain't nothing been done, right? So it becomes a business.
Except for your waistline, your waistline growth. Huey, can I give you an example?
Yeah.
So again, I'm back. I'm back in that ridge of listening to wonderful people sharing great ideology, and you know, when I finish on this Zoom, I'll be delighted, and I'll take heart that I've met two more protagonists who are doing very well. About 13 years ago, I was running a comedy club in West London, and a guy approached me. Didn't know him from Adam, Hugh. He'd listened to me on radio and blah blah blah. Said he had an idea. He wanted to launch a Caribbean food directory. Said okay. No problem. So what we would do just before the break of each show, Hugh, I would invite local people in the West London area, Nottingham, Ladbroke Grove, because it's a tabernacle. So if you had a business, didn't matter where it was, you came and spoke for 5 minutes, and in the foyer, and it was free, Hugh. They weren't charged, and in the foyer, they could sell their wares and whatever and whatnot. That was it, Hugh. That's what I did during an 8-show run. One of the guys had a fantastic idea. His name was Joseph. His idea was to get this directory and people could advertise. And he wasn't asking the restaurants to advertise. He was saying that if he got their supportable restaurants, then you go to the food distributors that are by and large at the time were mainly Asian, probably still are. But you could go to these people, pressure them and say, well, look, let's do some advertising. So I went with him one evening. We met for a drink. But because we were in Halsden, northwest London, we decided to visit 2 or 3 eating establishments. Not one. One was on borderline saying, yeah, this is a free service. Offered to put your business in a free directory, so it would look like a menu the guy came up with, and you give it out. So it's just like going to a themed restaurant.
Yeah.
Here is a menu, but on there it's got all the businesses and blah blah blah. And straight away the collective was nah. Only King Sounds in Halsden, opposite Hawker. I forgot what his restaurant was called at the time.
Yeah.
He was doing some gardening, some sustainability stuff. Only he was the only one who was really interested, and whatever. The guy, I felt sorry for him. The idea didn't get off the ground, but I felt to myself, even with me helping him, oh yeah, what happened, Geoff? Oh, Geoff Schumann and blah blah blah. I left those establishments thinking, why bother? The level of mistrust, and it was such a good idea, Hugh and Lorraine, that you have a menu, but there's no food on there. It's just got the directory of all these different food places.
Yes.
And then if that had taken off, then the things that have been talked about in terms of sustainability,
would be
one big wholesaler and saying, right, we're going to take five grand worth of oxtail and blah 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 and divide it and whatever. But straight away, because of crabs in a barrel mentality, I can sit in front of you and say one thing, and as soon as the doors close, no, I can't stand blah blah blah. And so it's about that mindset. It really is deep, Hugh. That's why I'm yearning for the day. There's a seminar, blank canvas, and it's, will you genuinely spend money with your own? I'm not talking about just purchasing 2B hair or 3B hair or a certain lip gloss or a certain factor. That's absolutely fine. Or asking you a question is, will you seriously, and you could do it, Hugh, you and your wife have the power to phone 30 Caribbean restaurants over the next month and make that suggestion that, you all go to, either you go down to, what's the, not Spittle, where is it? The meat market that everyone goes to.
Okay.
What,
Smithfield? Yeah.
Smithfield, yeah.
Let's go to one particular distributor and tell them we're going to spend 15 grand and blah, blah, blah. Will they supply us and blah, blah, blah. You see how much of a collective and supportive response you get there, my brother.
Yeah.
I know man have been trying to purchase rotis and they're getting a fight now. In just purchasing rotis. And they're getting a fight down. Don't sell to him. Don't sell to that. How can he sell a chicken roti for £5? What? He must sleep with the distributor. I mean, it's that, because you have people like this on this platform, and there are loads of wonderful people whenever I tune into your channel, Hugh, who say eloquent and excellent things. But it's almost like we're talking to the minority, when we need to be talking on a wider platform. Sun readers,
I actually
Atlanta lovers. You have to get into these people and say, look, we hear what you're saying, and we know say you buy yam and dasheen every now and again if you can. But what we're saying is that Hugh and Lorraine are openly throwing open a wider challenge, which is your business spends X amount of money on meat. Will you pool with? We've got 8 restaurants so far. We've got 9 now. We've got 10. We've got 11. We've got 12 now. Right now, we'll just have a Zoom meeting and say, right, is your £1,000?
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
What, Lorraine? Exactly. Try it and see what happens.
Well, you know what?
We are going to try.
We're going to err on the side of positivity, because we just get, if we continue thinking, you know what, we're not going to get over. Right now, we're on that hill, right? We're on that. We cannot afford to run back down that hill, because bringing it back, all right, as I said, if we are going to get through, and Paul said it himself, this is a great time for us right now, where we have the opportunity, to really shift forward, right? There's businesses opening, record businesses that have been opened this year. All right, then, predominated by women, but that doesn't matter, okay? There's lots of businesses that open. Now, the crux of it is that with all these energy bills and whatever else, and inflation going up, how are how are we going to keep them going, right? And we just need to stay positive and say, this is how we keep them going, by everybody coming together and supporting those businesses.
So can I just add one thing? Paul, I'm starting with you.
Yes.
So you're going to be number one. We're going to be talking with you, and we're going to be talking with other businesses to see how we can get this to work. Because I don't want it to be a situation where this has ended as just a talk shop. I want to see something productive happen. And even if we get 3 people together, we start with and we'll keep on doing until we get enough that we can make a difference for all the businesses. And as far as I'm concerned, the different categories of businesses that's in the group, we need to look at each of those and see how we can pull them all together as a collective. So we're going to start looking at that.
Q, can I give you an example, Q? We always talk about marketing. And when I worked at the BBC after Choice FM released me, I used to go down into the recording booth and watch how jingles were put together for radio and stuff. Because in our community, on community radio stations, the majority of adverts are done by a white guy who makes a fortune, which is not a problem. But it is a problem, really. But he does what it's supply and demand, I guess. And so I went to a guy who I know and said, look, if people were to do, they can either use your production voice or me or whoever, or supply their voice. But is there a way we can help businesses? Because, you know, adverts are £70 plus for 30 and 40 seconds because of the commercial production. So what he does now is that if a black business or a black startup comes, I asked him about this evening. He goes, yeah, he doesn't really want his number out there. It's just
absolutely
number. Fair enough, because he makes his money doing what he's doing. But if anyone's got a business out there and you want a 30, 40, or even a minute jingle for WhatsApp, whatever, contact me, go on my website, and make an advert for you for £20. It's going to cost you £100 or £70. You can use your own voice, choose your music. Because what I know, I've got maybe 5,000 people on WhatsApp. When I do something for Paul, I just go ding, and the advert goes out to everybody. And then bam, people got an opportunity now then to walk in and say, oh, I heard you've got blah, blah, blah. Then it's then Paul's responsibility to share that.
That's right.
It's not my responsibility. If you're serious about your business, and you know, it's never been a better time, although Facebook can be a bit difficult, but WhatsApp and text messaging, there's never been a better time for you to have a jingle to send it, because not everyone wants to read. Not everyone reads adverts.
So on Instagram, it could be a great thing as well, because 30 seconds on Instagram will get you enough people for you to be tired, you know? So thank you. I mean, I would say to you that we would be one of your first customers because we want jingles until Christmas and beyond. And I'm sure those people with the black card lottery, Sophia, definitely will be looking. Yes, so Pete, look at that. So, you know, already we can say we got 2 and we can get more people. So Geoff,
I didn't know about the black card lottery till this evening. I know someone who runs a lottery who's a black guy I know differently. So when I saw this, I thought it was the same thing. Then you explained to me, Hubert, I thought, oh no, it isn't the same thing. But
no, because
Sophia is the first.
Sophia, can you explain why yours is different from others?
And what is it?
So basically, when you go to the Gambling Commission, there are different lottery licenses you can obtain. So with the other lotteries that are out there, not naming any names, they tend to go through what is called an external management company. So an external management company will basically give you a website, give you the platform, give you the infrastructure. And then what they will do is they will probably be looking after another, say, another 10s or maybe even 100s of other lotteries underneath you. So you're sitting under an umbrella. So when you see these lotteries saying that, woo, £25,000 and you've got 1 in 100 chances of winning, you're actually sharing that jackpot with the whole of the collective of that management company. And there are no black-owned management companies. I hope to fix that in 5 years. But the thing is, with me, I took the long route of getting and requiring my own license so I can do what I want with my lottery and not having to pay a management fee to anybody. So also you have to pay a management fee to them. So you're never going to be self-sustainable. You're never going to be able to grow to a certain size. So when I say that this is fully black owned, I mean from the top to my foot bottom is black owned.
So this is where we look at that as how do we then utilize that kind of service, because Sophia's whole business model has been about providing for the community. It's not about, you know, personalizing the wealth for herself. It's about providing a need. Yeah. So, you know, I am championing that because I believe in what she is actually doing. And what we have to do is instruct the community and provide them with the information to know how genuinely that she is a part of a lottery service which is independent. So when you put your money in, you're not sharing it between just your 25,000 people or whatever. But when you get your money is going out to all the different companies, and they're saying that, we've got 100,000 members or whatever. But in actual fact, your money, what you were trying to get your little car with or your little whatever, is going to all
Hugh,
these
that's
companies.
my point. Hugh, that's my point. Without you and your wife giving us this platform, I wouldn't be any the wiser. You see, when I'm at home and I'm watching television, it's a serious Hugh. That's why I so love what I'm not waiting for you and Lorraine to become ill or die, and I come to a eulogy and say how fantastic you were. What you're providing is fantastic. Because that explanation that we just got there from the sister, again, is empowering and informative. If I'm at home, I hear in the daytime, because I'm a writer as well, I see this postcode family lottery all the time, the advert. I see about wills and probate adverts all the time. I see adverts about the Powerball and this and that this week all the time because it's marketing.
Yes,
because it's marketing. Tesco, every little helps. The slogan, little on quality, little on price. If you don't market, people don't know where you are. So, like I say, I don't have a history with Paul, but here was a business that was there. I have the skills. I know the person who does whatever, and I said, look, people can't afford 70, 80 pounds. It's a lot of money, my brother. Blah blah blah. Would you, if it's his words with this, Hugh? If it's a startup, if it's a new business, or if it's a cultural business, because you don't get everyone starts to get very scared and frightened when we use the word black. So we have to be urban. So if it's a cultural business, it's £20, Huey. To make an advert, to make a jingle, that you're then in control of, that you send around to people. That's how you you grow the awareness of the business. I didn't know about Malcolm and so I didn't know about that until this evening, till I was told who was responsible for it. But if this platform wasn't there to give me the information, Lorraine, I wouldn't know.
Well, bless you and thank you for that, because that is what we are about here.
Absolutely.
We are sharing it every week. This is where we will share with everyone, right, that is ready to, to learn and to listen and to move forward. We're going to put the wonderful businesses and the business people in front of them to hear where they come from, where to find them. So, thank you very much for that, Geoff. But, that is what we are here.
That's what we're here to do. And I'd just like to ask Sophia, just before we go, Sophia, can you explain how the system works?
I want to come back to Hildred, because Hildred, we've not forgotten you here now, because I think it's also important as well. And this might take us into a different direction, but it is something that you did mention, and we hadn't sort of really fully picked up on it in light of where we are right now. And you mentioned before that, with energy and so on and what's happening, that dual
heating,
gas heating, whatever you want to call it, was not necessarily
the best way forward.
The best way. I mean, can you elaborate
on that
for us?
Okay. In the past, because I had some background at the Citizens Vice Bureau. I did work and volunteer there for a while, and it was seen that doing dual fuel wasn't the best cost-effective way to have your utilities. How can I say? If you did some research into it, you can see that it can cost you more if you do dual fuel. Plus, if you're dual fuel and you have problems with one utility company, well, that's it. Both your utilities are at risk.
Yeah.
If you do dual fuel, and if you do single fuels, you can negotiate prices as well. But if you do dual fuel, you negotiate in only one price.
Okay,
that's important.
So collectively,
I didn't know that.
So collectively,
but you need to do the research to see it for yourself, to see whether it is cost effective for you or not. But usually, in the past, I have seen that it's been more money. I mean, I did it myself at one point, and I cancelled it because I was paying more money.
Wow.
Because after a certain period of time, they'll start raise the money and you don't know anything because you're thinking, it's dual fuel. You must be saving. but until you sort of keep on checking what's going on, you don't really realize that one price has gone up, one price has stayed steady, and they're both going up. And like we have today, where, you know, people are paying £80 extra a month, they're just being given a nice bill. So taking that into account, we're talking about, you know, £1,800, you know, almost £1,000 extra that you weren't, you know, accounting for.
Because
and in business, the prices are.
Utility companies know that it's an easy option for people, so people don't have to research too much about it. They'll just do dual fuel. Great, that's handy. I'll have it. But if you did a research into it, and see whether it's more cost effective or less cost effective than doing single fuel, people don't do that. People don't do that because you got research. I mean, these days you got to research everything.
And that's the thing, don't you find as well? Because that is also an issue. Because it's, you know, people will say, well, where do I have the time? Everything is keeping everyone so busy right now. It's, you know what I mean, trying to find that time to really sit down and do that particular research.
You've got to learn that skill
in that area. But if it is the best thing for you and your business, you know, you would need to really look at that.
I research, even though I'm busy, I research everything.
Everything. So the answer is to research, everyone. Research exactly what's going on. So, you know, research and research and research.
And research some more. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, obviously we're coming near to the end now. All right. So, I mean, you know, final words from
everyone. So we take on board one at a time. Paul, so where are you in terms of we're going to have a conversation soon anyway, that's for sure. But in terms of the business, what time are you open and closed?
Open from, well, struggle sometimes. I open from 12:30 to 10 o'clock, Monday to Saturday.
Wow.
And then Sunday, I try and close at 9. But I close on a Tuesday. The day I actually close is a Tuesday. People say, why do you close on a Tuesday? But to tell the truth, the guy next door closes on a Monday, and I thought, well, I might as well close on a Tuesday. And Monday for me, it's worked out. It worked out okay. You know, it's not too bad. So
there's no competition on a Monday. On a Tuesday, there you go. Wicked.
And everybody, if you want to try and see where Paul's lovely takeaway or restaurant is, you can hit up on www.tophillcaribbean.co.uk. Is that correct? Paul?
That's correct.
Excellent. So get to find Sir and get ourselves down there.
And I want to ask Sophia about how her lottery works, so that people can understand. It's not the national lottery; it's a different lottery and a different approach, which is kind of cool, actually.
It is. It is.
So when I actually obviously going through the research of the lottery, I wanted it to be mindful of any kind of mental health concerns, any kind of community health concerns. So addiction is a thing that I'm quite passionate about. So the lowest risk of gambling, because it's still considered that, is a actual monthly subscription. Very hard to have a direct debit and get a rush from that. It's £10 a month. You go onto our website, which is www.blackcardlottery.com. You pay your £10 via direct debit, which I will then process for you. I will not be taking any payments until we hit our first target. So I still haven't launched yet because, like we've all said today, it's about mindset, and I'm waiting for 1,000 people's mindsets to click into place so that we can launch. And with that, it will then allow us to basically start becoming self-sufficient in an economic way and having proper infrastructure for our kids and our future to come. This has to be here long before I'm gone dust. So that's what it's about. Interesting. I'll leave you for interesting fact. In 1567, Queen Elizabeth commissioned a lottery to build ships. Those ships went across the seas. They collected us. They distributed us around the world. The same ships dumped some of our ancestors in the ocean. But if the lottery enslaved us, I believe a lottery can set us free. An eye for an eye.
Amen.
I'll leave you with that.
Amen for that. Thank you.
Is powerful.
That's powerful. That's powerful. That's
powerful. So, Geoff, any last words, sir? Your microphone again. You love talking silence.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I've got a website, www.geoffschumann.com. It might say geoffschumann.com. It really should say denzelwashington.com, but I'm just tired of the comparisons. I know we look alike, but I'm tired now. Again, on Facebook, you can hit me up on Messenger, you can hit me up on Instagram, or you can tweet me. I've actually put the telephone number in the Black Business Recommendations link.
Okay.
I would so love, Hugh, really, just be part of it. And I think you probably see about 200 squares of just an open forum and moving towards solutions. How best can we recycle the black pound? You heard the sister say 6 hours and 3 hours. I've heard in America even more frightening statistics in some of our neighborhoods. A lot of the nightclubs that there were a few wine bars, whatever, but come New Year's Eve, people will kill themselves to spend £35 to get there, £50 in parking charges, spend a fortune on outfits, and spend a fortune in the people in bar, and then wonder why we don't have nothing. So again, but it would just be really good, Huey, honestly, to have an open debate to stop people from talking, because you're going to find out if you approach businesses and say, look, let's buy as a collective, you watch and say, well, my needs aren't necessarily her needs or his needs, which is fine. But that's not the question we're asking. We're saying, can we find one major distributor? Because one of the major problems we have as black businesses is about distribution.
Yeah.
We're always dependent on somebody. When I used to host Black Hair and Beauty, when I was at Choice FM, when we all went home as a people, in came the Indians to collect their exhibits.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Fact.
Oh.
Well, you know what? I
came the Asian businessman, and we had gone home.
Yeah.
Well, can I just say that just while I remember, a distributing company who can help you out is stepupbacktoblack.co.uk, and they are also a warehouse for businesses. They have many areas in which they can distribute around the country for black businesses, black owned, and it's stepupbacktoblack.co.uk. Yeah.
Fantastic. So those people, I didn't know that. Fantastic, Hugh. Fantastic.
I'll put it up there in the chat.
Yeah. So they are actually they are a depot. So they actually got their own business. They actually provide you and can sell you wholesale, right? So best place to go. So it's a wholesalers, and they distribute around the country, and they can distribute your wares as well. So please remember that, people. Step back to black. Step up back to as a number 2 black. Yeah. .co.uk. Yeah.
Fantastic. Hugh, Lorraine, honestly, I really, and I know as modest, I worked with Hughie back in the day, and I know you are a couple of modesty, but I do have to say publicly, that what you're providing and what you're doing is absolutely fantastic. Not just essential, but fantastic. And long may you reign and keep doing what you're doing, Hughie, because some of the things you said tonight and imparted, I had no idea about Step Up Back to Black, no idea of the young women that I'm speaking to this evening. Paul, as I say, we don't have a history of friendship, we don't rave, we don't socialize, we don't whatever. He's got a business. And I don't only walking past it in 5 months' time and say, boy, place closed already? Bombering.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? But before we go, because some of the conversation, I mean, some people have been, sharing some bits and pieces. I mean, Hildred, we've got some people here say, how do they get in contact with you? They like what you're doing. Obviously, I've, shared and put up there, your wonderful business, which is, the Urban Trailblazer, which is the SIT. But is that the best place that they can contact you, or do you have a telephone number?
Yeah, sure. I've got a telephone number. Do you want me to say it now, or my email?
Yes. If you give us your email, I can put that in as well.
Okay, it's urbantrailblazer@protonmail.com.
How do you spell it?
At protonmail.com.
How are you spelling Proton? Proton?
Yeah, Proton. That's right. Okay. Thanks, Geoff.
.com, yeah?
Yeah.
Can I just say, that's not Geoff who went to Elthorn, is it?
Yes, it is. No, it is.
This is connections already.
This is how connection works on this group.
And then they're telling me about, oh, did you go Elford yet? I'm like, no. It's my cousin, same surname as me. It's my cousins. I didn't go Elford, but I know what you're talking about now. I'm like, oh, okay. When she first said that, I thought, I didn't teach her, did I? I can't be that old, am I?
I'm saying, I swear I went to school with this girl, you know. And she looks exactly like she is. And my dear, I know your dad. I know your uncle or your granddad very well.
Oh my gosh!
Listen.
Look at that, eh? And then no one said, let's give it up to Denzel for his new Oscar nomination. You lot are so jealous. This is why I don't tell black people nothing.
Well, you know what? Also as well. I mean, you know, people are just commenting. I mean, again, Geoff, you talked about the jingles. People are really, interested about, how do they get in touch?
Again, if you're on any of the social platforms, you're on Insta, if you're on Twitter, or if you're on Facebook now, I've actually put I went onto Facebook and put my number in there, but it's 07985. I repeat, 07985 523 033. All you need to do is messenger me. Once I've got the message and stuff with your contact details, I'll get back to you. And like I say, you can provide the voice via WhatsApp, or we can do it for you. And then again, marketing is the key. This is why this is so important. Black Business Recommendations. It's huge, proper platform. And my mission now, after tonight, is to help grow this, Hugh and Lorraine. Grow it already, but my job now is to help grow this.
Absolutely. You know what? We need you. We need the support of our community, because we don't want to just stop here. We want to blow up this country, give it everything it needs, let everybody know that we exist and we are here. You know?
So share. We are here every Monday. And, we thank you very much for being with us this evening. It has been an absolute pleasure having a conversation and really getting to understand how we can support.
This is just the start of what we need to do. So remember that we're not giving up, we're not stopping. And next week we're interviewing another set of businesses.
Huey, final plug from me. Paul's business. Paul does a thing called I think he can confirm me and tell me if I'm right or wrong. But he's doing a thing right now, promotion, where I can't do it because I don't want to. If I think about food, I put on weight, and I have a trainer. Paul does a thing called a chicken roti. Instead of being £8, it's £5.
So, guys, find yourself there.
That sounds like I could be traveling soon, boy.
Find yourself there.
Chicken roti. Trust me.
Caribbean cuisine. But
all the food is good. I'm just not allowed to indulge, but it's great. Trust me.
Listen, guys, we're gonna have to leave it there.
Take care of.
We have been on for quite some time. We thank you very much.
Thank you all
Once
very
again,
much.
Hildreth Alexander, thank you for being with us. Sophie Leach from Black Diamond Lottery. Paul Laidlaw from Top Hill Cuisine, thank you. And the indomitable Schumann.
No. Geoff never came. It was Denzel.
Oh, Denzel.
Yeah, come on now. I know you can all see it. He's just fighting against the youth. Come on now. I know you can see it.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm still looking for Sharina, but let's not say anything there.
We don't chat no more. I don't talk to her no more. She was after my money.
I'm going to call time with everyone. But before we go, funny. For next week, guys, do join us again at 8:00. Where we will be promoting businesses. Promote your business in 10 minutes.
That's what we're doing. Promoting businesses.
If this is something that is of interest to you, do get in contact with us. DM Hugh from Black Business Recommendation. DM Hugh, or you can get in contact with us via just send an email.
Yeah. So it's inquiries at blackbusinessrecommendation.com, or you can just DM me. So we are promoting businesses. Can you promote your business in 10 minutes?
All right.
Okay. Blessing to one and all.
Blessing to you
we'll
all.
see you on the 15th next week, Monday. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Have a good week.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.